Okay, the next thing is work history and feedback. Okay, super, super, super important. So just like eBay, just like, what is it, Yelp, people that interact with you, people that hire you and that you deliver work for, get an opportunity to rate you. And you need them to give you perfect ratings. You need 5 out of 5. You can say, well, what if they're not honest? What if they're a jerk? What if? This, you need to consider this your holy grail. Like, the most important thing to manage publicly is the type of feedback and ratings that your clients are giving you. I would, if I thought someone was going to give me a 3 out of 5 rating, I would offer to do work for free to get that up for 5 for 5. I'd be calling him or her, and I would be doing everything I can to make sure that I'm going to get a perfect rating. So, and I'll talk to them. I'll even talk to them about it before they give me a rating. So I've had, yeah, as we go through here, you can see I've got 5 out of 5 ratings. This was one here that didn't give me a rating. And this was a campaign, this was sort of a project that didn't go spectacularly well. So I didn't insist on him giving me a rating, and he never did give me a rating. So that's not so bad if it's just the bad ratings that you really don't want. And, you know, sometimes you can't help it. The project isn't going to go perfectly. So do whatever you can. It's amazing how reasonable these clients are. If you be forthright and say, look, I need a perfect rating. What can I do to make that happen so that you're satisfied? People are very reasonable. So here was one where I didn't get a perfect rating and I was frustrated. It was 4.9. So that's fun. He even gave me a nice write-up. And here's another one, 4.1. What's funny about this is, I don't know if we can see it here. What's funny about this is it's the person giving this rating didn't even think they were doing, look, I mean, Pat was great to work with. Would happily work with him again. Well, why'd you give me a 4.1? Because he didn't really think it was a big deal. He gave me like a perfect score on almost everything, but that brought the score down. So it took me a while to get my score back up from this one. Okay? Anyway, just what I'm saying is, work with your clients, talk to them about the rating. If you get any kind of sense that they're not going to give you a perfect rating or feedback, then work with them and aggressively say, what do I need to do to get that before they leave that rating? Okay? I can't stress enough how important that is, because when you post your bids and your proposals, it's exactly what people are looking at is what's the success rate, what's the feedback that other people have hired, and what have they gotten. And you might be asking the question, well, what if I don't have any work history? We're gonna deal very directly with that item because that's critical. Okay, kind of went off the rails there a little bit, but I feel very passionately about that, and that is so important. Your portfolio, what I did for my portfolio was put a number of screenshots, Facebook growth, video sales letter, managing Google AdWords campaigns, SEO rankings, and I put some screenshots in there because I think a screenshot can speak 1,000 words. It also shows you're very confident. So this does not have to be work that you did on Upwork or even any other freelance work. It could be other projects or other accomplishments that you have had yourself or on any kind of project. Could even be volunteer work. Okay, certifications. Look at this. I have no certifications listed. So you can go ahead and add them in here and add a certification. I can see my internet's really slow, which is too bad considering we're recording this. So you can select your certifications from here, and you can see them listed here. And these are like officially recognized certifications. For me in my industry, not particularly important. I've had no trouble getting work without these. But if you've got them, and in some industries, very important probably, go ahead and add them in there. These are one of those things that I'm saying not that critical for me, and I'm not sure how important it would be, period, to getting work. Tests. I see people doing these. And so you can do tests around just a number of different topics. And these are tests that Upwork has come up with. And people are basically trying to prove how good they are at English or at programming and all of that. I don't play that game. I don't want to. So, and I don't believe it's necessary in my experience. You can do it if you want, but I think it can take a lot of time, a lot more stress for you, and I wouldn't worry about it. And then you have your employment history. Certainly smart to list at least some of your recent employment history. I didn't go overboard on it, just the last couple of things I've done. And then education. If you have formal education, good idea to put it in here, but again, I don't think it's a huge factor. And then other experiences. I actually didn't spend any time on that. That wouldn't hurt, but I didn't find it that critical. So just because Upwork's got it listed here doesn't mean it's really that important necessarily. Okay, so then we have work history. So work history I think matters, but you don't have it until you have it. And we're going to deal with that, and we're going to handle this issue. So if you're just new starting out, don't worry, we know how to handle this. If you're 0 hours worked and 0 jobs, we're going to fix that. We're going to show you how to handle that, okay? Availability. So availability, you want to have yourself as available, unless of course you're not available, and how much you're available. And then you can have your response time. So if people are contacting you, good idea to contact them back as quickly as possible. I will tell you, I've gotten invitations to work and I haven't responded, so I don't think it's that big a deal. But particularly when you're starting out, you may want to get back to people on proposal invitations and just turn them down just so that you have a quick response time. I'm going to say it's not a huge deal though. Profile link, it just provides it here for you. I think this is one where you can actually put in that customized URL if you have a paid account. I just used my name. And then languages that are native for you. So important. One thing they have here is that I'm fluent in a language versus native or bilingual. Very important to make sure you put native if you are native to that language. Fluent sounds good, but apparently it's not as good as native. All right. So there you go. That's the basics of your profile. Now, I hope that makes sense, and you got for me there what really the most important things are. So again, let me just quickly boil it down for you. Let me just switch back. What do I think the most important things are when it comes to your profile? I believe your job title is very important, and your skills. This is going to help people find you. Your work history and feedback, I would say, is number one most important thing. And yeah, if I had to boil it down, I would say your skills, your job title, your overview, and your work history and feedback. Okay? A lot of things here, but those are the 4 that you want to spend your time on. All right, let's go. There's a little bit more when it comes to your profile. I mean, this is basically your web page within the Upwork community, and other freelance communities are going to have something similar. So there's something called profile settings, so that actually goes just a little bit deeper. You'll see up here, profile settings. Actually, before I go into that, let me just point out that you can click on this link that says view my profiles as others see it. It's very similar to this, but you might notice that there's a tiny bit of a difference, like there's no edit options right here. And it's just having a little trouble flipping screens. Probably because I'm recording or I have a Wi-Fi issue right now. Okay, so now you can see my screen as viewed by a client looking at my screen. Just basically they don't have those edit options. But it's nice to be able to see it as someone that's looking would see it. Let's go back. Okay. And now I want to, before I distracted myself, let's look at profile settings. Keep flipping back and forth. Let me just tell you first what we're going to review. We're going to look at profile settings being visibility, earnings visibility, experience level, categories, linked accounts. So these are all, what profile settings are is pretty much what it sounds like. What you want to display to someone that is checking you out. All right, so let's go ahead and click on it, and I'll be able to show you exactly what that looks like. All right, so profile settings. Here I am here in my account. So I've got some of my personal information. I want to talk about visibility. You could make it so that only certain people could see you. Not sure why you'd want that, but anyway, it's there in case you want it. Maybe you have so much work, you just don't want people to see you. You're probably not watching this course though, if that's the case. Responsiveness, this is what we were talking about here. Here's your earnings visibility. If you don't want people to see your earnings, you would check that off. Again, don't think I would check it off, even if I was just starting out. Experience level. I have to tell you that you really need this to be expert or intermediate level. Like, do you really want to list yourself as entry level? Now you can say, well, I'm really not that. I really am just entry level. I'm just getting used to certain things. So if that's the case and you're willing to work for very little money, there is a place for that. So I'm not telling you to lie, but go ahead and hit entry level. I would rather you focus on skills that you know you have an intermediate or expert level in and click on it. And here's what I would want to point out here is don't downsell yourself, if that's a word. Don't underestimate yourself and think that everybody knows so much more than you do. Okay? Good people are hard to find, so don't be afraid to go to that expert level. Categories. So here you have categories and then subcategories. So my main categories were writing and sales and marketing, and then subcategories underneath that. So I can edit that, and here's what it looks like. Okay? And I can choose 10 matching categories. So for me, these were the ones that made sense, writing and then sales and marketing. For you, it could be any of these other ones. But this is a nice, neat place to see exactly what's going on in Upwork, the Upwork community. There are other freelance sites that are dedicated to different or more specific types of industries. Okay, so this is very important what you select here, because people are looking for freelancers, and you're bidding on jobs. People need to be able to see that you're in the right category. And then linked accounts. You can see what you can do here is you can link your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn accounts. I don't do it. If you want to, and you feel that your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and any of these other Google Plus, any of these other accounts, if you feel that what you have on those accounts really represents you well professionally, it's going to improve the trust level that people have in you, then go for it. For me, my other accounts are more personal. My LinkedIn doesn't sync up perfectly with this, so I just didn't bother. And I don't think you're going to get a huge benefit out of it. But that's what I wanted to point out for profile settings. So this was sort of a long lesson, so thanks for sticking with me on it. I think and hope you can see that this is very important. We're really starting to pitch ourselves and position ourselves so that when people are checking us out and evaluating us, they'll be like, yeah, this person's really got it together. Okay, so there you go. That is the end of the Your Profile lesson.